equally big. And I'll show you a picture for the new people, what our innovation center looks like. And then finally, technologies. And the world is changing. All of you, I bet, you have a smartphone, right? Whether it's iPhone or whether it's Samsung. Hopefully you don't have the model that burns out, but it's okay. Because you can't travel with that phone now. But nonetheless, that's a technology that you are using. And we in Nu Skin have the same kind of technology, except we focus in on anti-aging. So these are the 4 elements of our product innovation. They come together. Not one piece is sufficient, unlike most companies. They tend to have just one piece and not the others. Whereas in Nu Skin, we have the complete innovation approach to making anti-aging products. So that's how we do. Now, when we talk about the professors and how sort of when they come in and advise us, we want to get objective data, yeah? And just like many of you, especially the new folks sitting here, you're thinking, what am I doing here on a Saturday afternoon? Listening to a man in white. And I'm not even sure who he is, and really what he's saying. Hopefully, what I'm telling you, it's not so much in terms of saying how good we are, or how we are doing our innovation, but to share the information so that you can take it away and sort of assess for yourself whether we are truly innovating. In science, you cannot just say what you say, you really have to do what you say. And that's why we are sharing the information with all of you so that you can make up your own minds, rather than having me to tell you we are good. So that's perhaps another difference in Nu Skin, that we try to share as much of our proof with you and our scientific studies so that Singaporeans in general and Malaysians as well, you're fairly skeptical people, so you might as well have the information and you go make up your own minds, and hopefully you'll find that Nu Skin is a company that you can come and be successful in. So these are the professors that help us. They're very objective. Now, when we talk about our science, I'm sure not many of you here sitting here are from the scientific world, so we want to make sure that our science is actually shared with the scientific world, because that's another way of validating what we do. We are on the right track. Because if I tell you, as a scientist, and I tell you, you sort of tend to believe it, because especially without the background, we want to make sure that what I tell you today is also the same story that I tell to all the other scientists around the world. So that's why the scientists go to scientific conferences and medical conferences, so that they can share that information with people with the expertise to evaluate what we do is actually correct. And then we subsequently, invariably, we publish those scientific studies and articles so that they can be peer-reviewed. And obviously, I think in one of the videos this afternoon, you saw some of the awards we have won for our products as well. So finally, when we bring all the science together and put it into a product, that product can also be viewed as a very innovative product. And many of the beauty critics, or whether it's supplement critics, associations, they tend to believe our innovation and give us award. So that's the type of science that we have in Nu Skin. It's not so much doing science for the sake of science, but really to make sure that what we do, or what we claim behind our products, those are claims that we can actually back it up with scientific evidence. So age-lock, you hear a lot about it, and I just came back, where did I come from? Yeah, I came from Indonesia. I can't even remember which country I'm in anymore for the last 10 days. So yesterday I was in Jakarta, right, and our president was speaking in Bahasa, and I sort of probably understood quite a bit of it, and he tried to explain what age-lock, how we came up with that name. And interestingly enough, he actually got it. And hopefully all of you have got it after so many years, is the fact that we call it age-lock as a brand is because we're locking in your age, right? So now, what we want to do is to make sure that 12 months from now, your body doesn't get old. Now, you might be a year older, but hopefully your body will stay healthy and much younger than what your age is actually at. So that's how we disconnect, and that's what ageLOC is all about. And sometimes when we talk about our anti-aging products, and I notice there are a lot of young folks sitting here, you immediately, I think some of you may think, these are products not for me. I'm still young. I don't need these products. These anti-aging products are really for my grandparents. They're for the old people. I don't need them yet. And sometimes it's the unfortunate impression or interpretation of the adjective anti-aging. Now let me switch it a little bit, because these are products that are equally beneficial to preserve your youth. Now that's a slight subtle difference, but it's significant enough now that many of you young folks will think that these are products appropriate for you as well. So that is perhaps our minute we should start calling all our products youth-preserving products rather than just anti-aging products. So that's what ageLOC is all about. Many of our competitors, and some of you I think have heard me mention, that our competitors are still trying to make anti-aging products or develop anti-aging products that merely cover up the signs of aging. They're cosmetic in that sense. Yeah? And in English, I mean, the word cosmetic has been used to mean something that you just cover up. It's really not a very meaningful benefit. And that's what they do, the traditional approach, and that is to cover up the signs of symptoms. With ageLOC, the biggest difference, if you will, is that we have used the science and knowledge to be able to identify these so-called sources of aging at the genetic level. Yeah? And with this information and with this knowledge, now we are able to truly develop products that bring you far more meaningful benefits than previous products can. So that is a very big difference between what we do with ageLOC and what most of the other conventional anti-aging products can do. So that's what we do. So why ageLOC science, right? I've already alluded and sort of hinted to you the difference. And that is 12 months from now, you are going to be 1 year older, but your body doesn't have to be 1 year older. So perhaps, and sometimes you sort of say, well, how did you sort of come up with this idea? Perhaps I'll tell you a personal story, because it reflects my sort of thinking and the rest of the scientific team. And that is about the quality of life in a human being. Yeah? So here's my dad. If you look at him, it's sort of, he looks healthy when he was young, but as he got older, the picture on the right shows that he's not, or he wasn't terribly healthy. Yeah? In fact, the picture shows him being shaved by an assistant. That means for a man who cannot shave, he's rather ill. Because there's a simplest task that a man does every morning. And for a man not being able to do that, there's a lot of loss, a significant loss of self-respect. And that's to me, personally, when I saw that, it's really the least important thing that my dad should be able to do. There were far more severe and meaningful things that he should be able to do, and he couldn't do those either. So for all intents and purposes, what you have is a person without a good quality of life. So when he died at the age of 87, after 5 years of these kind of, low quality of life, I personally felt happy for him. Because, it's sort of, when you look at a person with that sort of inability to do things that we normally take for granted, I felt happy because he didn't have to suffer anymore. So that's the biggest difference that I saw. But here's my mom. I think my mom is quite pretty, actually. So that's the mom at about 40 years old on the top, and at the bottom is where she looks right now. Yeah. So I can see that she is older, visibly, but I can see that she is healthy. Yeah. The quality of life is really good, because in spite of her aging, and she is now about the age of my dad when he died, and yet she looks good in general, and she feels good. So here is a person with incredible good quality of life, right? So what does that mean? Why is it that two individuals, my two parents, differ so much in terms of how they age? In fact, my mother, sometimes it's good. She can think of everything. Sometimes I think she thinks too much and she knows too much because she still tells me what to do. I swear, all Asian mothers are built from the same genetic pool. It doesn't matter, All Asian mothers think their sons are still 9 years old, in spite of the fact they've gone on and sort of built a family of their own, right? Every time you build, but what are you doing? Can I tell you what you can do better? Yeah. Are you still working hard? Oh my goodness. Are you serious? Mom, if I hadn't worked for the last 40 years, I don't think I would be speaking to you right now, right? So that's the difference. So clearly, the scientific question, the scientist in me then immediately asks the question, what actually happens in the body? And what makes this difference? What caused the difference in my two parents? And that's how, together with all our scientists and so on, we came up with the idea that perhaps there's something happening at the genetic level that is manifesting itself in terms of how you age. So how to go about doing all this genetic or gene technology? So luckily, we now have this gene chip technology that we can use to assess the functional activity of genes. And here is one thing that, be careful, listen to what I say in English, and you have no excuse. You're all Singaporeans, you're all Malaysians, and you understand English, okay? So it's subtle, but it's important. We are not using age lock to change gene structure. There's nothing to do with what our age lock technology, yeah? There's something else. What we are doing that each gene, when it's stimulated, it sort of becomes active and it produces a protein. And different genes will produce different types of proteins. So that picture that you see there is the gene activity profile, or what we call in science the gene expression profile. So what you see here from our gene chip and age-lock technology is the fact that we can produce a gene expression profile of a young and healthy tissue versus the gene activity or gene expression profile of old and unhealthy tissue. Those are the two pictures. Those are what we have now. That is very precious to us because these are unique fingerprints that we can now begin to see whether we can mix or blend ingredients together to make a product, whether it's for skincare or whether it's for a supplement, to mix it in such a way that we can reproduce that gene expression profile on the left. That's what we're trying to do, right? And that's what we have. Fundamentally, that's what age-lock is all about, is to produce a gene expression profile that looks like the left one. And the reason why we are the only ones who can actually do it, or we are the exclusive, or we have the proprietary knowledge to be able to do it, is because of the acquisition of the LifeGen database. Without the database, there's nothing, even with the gene chip, we would not have been able to do it. So the hardware, and if you will, together with the software provided by LifeGen, that we bought in 2011, that software runs the hardware, or the hardware is there to run our software so that we can produce age-lock product. Just like your smartphone. Your smartphone, you cannot SMS your buddies and you cannot WhatsApp if there is no computer chip in there. But then again, it's the algorithm, the software that makes that chip work in such a way to be able to provide you with all that ability. And that's what we have in LifeGen, is the software. So quickly, with the software, the first thing we did was to come up with this TR90 system. This is a sort of maybe one of our first age-lock product system. And here is where I stop and say to all of you, is the fact that not all weight loss systems are created equal. Yeah? Most of us, invariably, when we use a diet system or any other system, what we do is to see whether it works or not, is to get on a scale and see how many pounds or how many kilos have we lost. Well, unfortunately, the scale doesn't tell you one important thing, and that is, what is that loss due to? Is it a loss of muscle, or is it a loss of fat? What we want, or what you want, really, is the loss of fat alone and not muscle. Because if you lose muscle, you are going to be shapeless. You will not be able to get up on stage here and look good. You'll be shapeless, right? So the muscle gives you the shape. And that is what TR90 can do, is to give you the shape. Not to worry, women, you're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger when I've got muscle. Yeah, that's not the type of muscle I'm talking about. But you still need, as a woman, enough muscle to maintain your shape, or else it won't look that good with any other diet system. With TR90, that's what we do. So, and the reason why we think we can control the weight loss to be entirely due to the fat and not to the muscle is because of the genes. You know, whether you're taking the trim shake and the other, the supplements that you have, you know, all those combined together actually make you just lose your fat and not your muscle, because they are regulating just the fat losing muscle. And here's some evidence. Now, these are the new people sitting here, and they might be interested in TR90 system. So here's some evidence for you. And this is what, I'm not saying that TR90 is good, but it's based on certain studies that we have done. So the fat cells at the top, those are very big fat cells. And the reason why they're big is because they're filled with fat or lipid. Now, after the TR90 system, and you look at the picture at the bottom, the same section of the tissue, except now the fat cells, after using the TR90 system, it's much smaller. So that means fat has been sucked out. That's a very scientific term. Has been sucked out from the fat cells and taken away from the body. And the reason why it's doing that is because of the gene expression profile on the left. So when you look at those three panels, the left one is a gene expression profile from a lean person. The one in the middle, where the color of the genes have changed, to where there's more red at the bottom and very little blue at the top, is from a fat person. Now, the fat person, after taking TR90, we reanalyzed, or we did another gene expression analysis of the fat tissue. And that's what it shows on the third panel. Now, this is what we have achieved. And this is what we started off with thinking. Can we copy something? We have managed to copy, with the TR90 system, a gene expression profile of a lean person. So, for most scientists, I think there's sufficient proof to say that the TR90 system works at the genetic level and also at the visual level that you can see. Even all you do is to get on the scale. And that's not all, right? The brain, all you guys, including all of us, we just like to eat. We just love to eat. Every time I pick up a Singapore magazine, or whatever magazine or newspaper, there's always a foodie section in there. What's the best place to go and eat your char kway teow, right? Where can you go to get your best Hainanese chicken rice, and so on and so forth. Every day you're bombarded. There's a reason why there's so much news on that, because we all love to eat. Unfortunately, the love of eating is not controlled so much by the stomach, but is actually controlled by the brain. So in the TR90 system, we also recognize the reality. We have to control your brain just as much as we have to control the fat. Yeah. So the craving, the desire to eat more than you should, is something, if we can reduce that in the TR90 system, then you have a double opportunity to maintain that weight off. That's another clue in TR90. The fact is, unlike most diet systems, once you get off, okay, once you get off, you put all your weight back on, because it doesn't work that way. With our TR90 system, because you might lose a bit slower, but when you lose it, you keep it off. And that's because we have an opportunity to affect the brain as well in terms of craving. So the body shaping is actually because of this, right? The waist, the hip, the arms, and the ankles, the circumference, the round thing, when it's reduced, you obviously know you are going to look better. And I think time and time again, the runway testimonials that I've seen, not just here, but in every market that has been using TR90, you can see it's about shape, and it's really something you may have missed, but it's something that is really key and unique to the TR90 system. So R-Square, you've been around. Thank you. I mean, R-Square is a wonderful product when we first launched it. It seems like, from what I hear, you all love it, and it seems like you actually can feel it too. Not a surprise to me, because it's about purifying your body and also creating some energy in your body. So the two of those features actually will combine to make you feel better. And it's because of this, right? So when you have cellular energy going down, what happens is you cannot actually purify your body more effectively. And those things, when you cannot purify more effectively, you cannot make more energy. It's like a double whammy or a catch-22. When those two things don't happen together, then it's not going to lead to a good outcome. And that is the inability to feel young, a lack of energy. So that's our R-Square. Y-Span, we've launched it, the most advanced one. Some of you, I'm going to talk about R-Square and Y-Span in a minute very quickly, but this is a product, our latest age-lock product that we have launched to actually protect the whole body. And it's because of these genetic results. Yeah? We are affecting more than 1,000 genes in the fat tissue, in the heart tissue, in the brain tissue, in the liver tissue. So clearly what's happening with Y-Span is the fact it can actually literally affect the genetic or the gene expression profile in every tissue in your body. That's like a pretty cool thing, yeah? And that's what makes us think that Y-Span is a product that can affect the whole body. And here's how it looks. Once again, coming back to this gene expression profile, right? Old, you have that picture. Now, if you use old and I put you on an incredible diet, and this is a special type of diet, it's a starvation diet. I reduce your calories so much that it's that close to starving you. You are actually going to live longer. We know that in science, yeah? You won't be happy. You'll be continuously hungry. You're going to be miserable, right? So you won't be happy at all because that diet is very severe. And most people, if not all, cannot keep up with that diet to stay young for a long period or for many, many years. It's just not. People finally will come to the conclusion, I'd rather die than to live long because I'm so miserable. Not good. But the scientists look at it and say, is there something we can do? Because that gene expression profile, as I mentioned to you, now in new skin, we can copy that. So what happens if we copy it without affecting or using that severe diet as a treatment for you? Let's see whether we can reproduce that picture with a supplement that has been developed with age-lock technology. And this is what happened with Y-Span. You can see, right? Thank you. So you can see we have successfully did that with Y-Span. We have reproduced more blue on the left and more red on the right. That is almost, if you look at it, almost more than 90% approximation of what you can do with a severe diet. So that's why we're excited about Wispan. We can actually do that gene expression. And that's not all. Because of the good gene expression diet in the brain, when we use MRI, the functional MRI to look at the brain, and this is like a live person you shove into this tube, yeah? It's not breaking open the skull and looking into the brain. This is really by MRI scanning. You can see big areas of the brain are much more active after taking Wispan. Before Wispan, the yellow areas, very small, not that active. But once you do that and take Wispan for 12 weeks, you can see many, many areas of the brain being active. So good things. And then on the skin, we can also give Wispan and show if you irritate your skin, sort of make it more red, and you can do that with UV light, for example. You can create a red area and see that's an irritation area. Now, after Wispan, with the same degree of UV irritation, the red area is significantly smaller. So here is another tissue that when you take Wispan, it actually has benefit on the skin as well. Very good proof that Wispan scientifically, we can substantiate the claims we make with Wispan. And obviously with the scanner, we use the scanner to measure antioxidant status. And Wispan, once again, over time, you can see a little bit better and better, sort of a significant improvement in antioxidant protection. So that's what we have. All these systems that exist in the body, there are roughly about 6 major systems that protect your body from getting old. And then, unfortunately, as you live your years in this with this modern lifestyle, what happens is you are being bombarded or exposed to many negative external stimulus. Yeah? And whether it's lifestyle habits or whether it's a poor diet, if I sort of take out and highlight those, the poor diet, free radicals, weight and not exercising enough, all these things will have a negative effect on these major protective systems that keep you young. And for intents and purposes, what we have in Wispan when you take it is to block those external factors from having too much of an effect on those systems. So, and simply put, we have made all of you to become Iron Man. And for the women as well, you're going to become Wonder Woman. That's great. All right. So, now we have R-squared and we have R-squared. How do you use them? And sort of like, okay, should I not take R-squared? Should I just take Wispan or vice versa? So maybe we can think about it this way. The Wispan, as I mentioned to you, is about total body protection, right? So it's systemic, it's healthy aging, it's sort of a shield, an armor that you put on. The R-squared, it's sort of focused, as I mentioned to you, on energy and purification. This is perhaps I would say the bullets or the polish that you put on the armor. So that, by polishing your armor can actually last longer. And by having the armor, the polish, there's something for you to polish with. And that is with R-squared. So, when you think about it that way, so the brain health, for example, right? So I already mentioned to you with the Wispan, you can actually see more brain activity. And with R-squared, what we are having here, it's about helping you to think better and help you to be sort of more alert, if you will. And with R-squared, because of its effect on another part of the cell, it actually actually has a bigger impact on alertness. Yeah. So maybe something I can tell you though. That's the brain, right? So we can make you more alert, we can make you recognize things, and so on. We can make you remember things. But if you are stupid, none of these products can do that. Not going to happen. It won't make you more stupid. So maybe that's still a good positive thing. So, but clearly, what we're saying is that we are preserving your brain activity to the best extent. Physical performance, yeah. And once again with wingspan, if I look at it, this aging defense mechanisms, we call it. What it does is to make your joints, for example, or your overall physical performance to be a bit more efficient and more effective. Yeah? So it makes you sort of overall your joints are better and so on and so forth, and so that you can perform better. With R squared, just like a car, you can go out and buy a Ferrari and whatever. But if you don't put petrol into your Ferrari, that Ferrari is going to sit on the road and not move. It's just not going to go anywhere without putting petrol in, right? So think about the R squared as the fuel for the cell, so that when you have the fuel, then your wingspan can work really nice because it's about the whole body, right? So your whole body is just going to be much, much better, and overall your performance is going to be really cool. So, all right, H-log mean. This is like magic. This is a $35 million project, and we still haven't finished. So, very quickly, your smartphone, you've got your app, we provide that. Right? You download it, 20 questions, you answer those questions as accurately and as honestly as you can. I know, playing with your smartphone, you think nobody is looking and you can lie. And nobody would know. We know. So all those questions, when you answer them very well, it goes and selects the aggregate of those answers together will allow us to send you the perfect combination for your skin type. Yeah? I know some of you are so curious. You're going to check and play with those answers and see, okay, if I change this and change that, and see, do they give me the same combination? Yeah, you played around, go ahead, play. But at the end of the day, look at your skin and what you truly like. And then with those 5 cartridges, you can then put it into the machine and it does what it does. And this touchless is pretty key, especially in this kind of hot and humid weather. Let me, for example, I know you guys go out to Orchard Road or whatever, and you go buy a jar of La Mer. You know what La Mer is, right? I hope. Okay, whatever, it's SK2. You open the lid, and you put your hands and your fingers in there, and you take some out and put it on your face. And you say, that's only half the face. I need more. You put your fingers into the jar a second time, and you put it on the other side of your face. Oh, I forgot, I need something for my neck. Third time you enter, and you take more and you put on your neck. 3 times you've gone into the jar. 3 times you have contaminated that jar. How many minutes do you think you wash your hands? On the average, I don't think any of us wash our hands for more than 2 minutes. And you think it's clean enough. Smells good, clean. I can guarantee you it's not clean. You're still going to have some bacteria. And here is why. A surgeon in the Singapore General Hospital, before he goes and operates on you, he or she has to wash the hands for 15 minutes. And she or he has to brush her hands all the way up here for 15 minutes to be clean. And even then, they're not confident. They have to put the surgical gloves on before they operate on you. And you think 2 minutes is good enough, right? Think about it, relatively. So, this machine, you don't have to touch anymore. It just comes out, put it on your fingers, and immediately you use it. It's hygienic. That's the beauty of this. And that's not all, right? With the WhatsApp, or with the app that you have, you can actually customize. It's magic. This is even magic. So Singapore just decided I don't need to talk about the factors. So you have 6 factors you can customize your formulations. A 20-year-old will not use the same combination as a 40-year-old or a 60-year-old, right? And your ethnicity is going to have an impact on what sort of combination you're going to have. And the climate, it has a big impact as well. So all these factors you can answer or you can put into the app to give you your perfect combination. So that's the wonderful thing. And some of the ingredients that you don't see inside the cartridge, those are ingredients that we know we couldn't put it in a jar because your dirty fingers were going to destroy them over time. Over a month, it's going to go away. They're not so powerful anymore. So we couldn't possibly use those ingredients except with an H-lock me system. And that's a big difference as well. And the micro layering, I know you guys are very curious. I tell you, working in Nu Skin, I learned a lot about you. Many of you think you are very good. Let me buy those 5 cartridges and push it out with my hand. I know you do that. Some of you are so curious. Let me see what I can do with my finger. And push it out, and you take that and go, oh, same thing, same color, same cream. I don't need a machine. What you don't see, except under the microscope, is that the machine mixes that droplet, or those cream, all the 5 cartridges, in such a way to give you this micro-layered droplet. And with this micro-layering technology, what happens is the ingredients can penetrate the skin better than what you can mix with your dirty fingers. Right? So, just so you know, this device is like a robot, so and 3 times better. So what's the point of having a great skincare product that you cannot get it into the skin? You just stay on top. That's the date layer. It's not going to make any difference whether you have a great product or not. And this is what happens when you do that. When you get under the skin, you can actually make more collagen with our skin formulation, me formulations, and it's good with more collagen. Your skin is going to stay firm, and you can glow. This is one of the biggest difference, perhaps, with the H-lock me formulation. When you use it over time, you have a much more radiant or luminous sort of impression on your face. So that's a good thing as well with me. And with spa. We know we have a spa, and so when we use the me, spa actually works better, and the spa will actually help the me formulations work better as well. So it's a very good sort of a synergistic effect between the 2 devices. All right. So maybe I shouldn't show you. I should show you this one. I'm supposed to make it more dramatic. Those guys are supposed to, at the back there, who fell asleep at the audio visual, they're supposed to show you a video. But I guess, yeah, they are more interested in what are they going to have for dinner tonight. So that's our latest device that we are going to launch fairly soon. So I just wanted to give you a preview. Not going to talk a lot about it. And just want to show you what it's going to look like. And it's really wonderful. This is where I struggle. Because the more I tell you, the more I have to kill you. So I can't tell you more, but it's special. It's, once again, it's rotation, a new kind of technology. And in fact, this is the one that you can use in the shower. Yeah. You cannot use the me in the shower. This one you can. And depending on how many people in the shower, you can either do it on your partner or your partner can do it on you. Whatever. So it's magical, and that's all I'm going to say. So I'll just end with this. You have about 9 different products coming out from our 2 categories with H Shop tomorrow. I'm not going to sort of say, okay, entirely these are the products that you need to sort of immediately change. There are certain fundamentals in the business as well that you have to take into account. Do that, no problem. But these are the ones that pipe with another new demographic that could well be attracted into this incredible opportunity that we have in Nu Skin. So in total then, that's a slogan you have seen quite a bit now over the last year, and that is discover the best you. And so every time I look at this kind of marketing slogans, right, I wonder what it really means. And I'm hoping it means more than just about our products. Clearly, our products will help to make you feel better so that you can discover your physical best you and so on, and maybe your face and the rest of the body. So as you become more successful, clearly that's important. But there are other parts of your life and parts of your being, if you will, that make up the best you, your complete best you. And that's everything that we hope we can also provide from Nu Skin as well. So our products, our business opportunity, our force for good that you're going to hear about